I kind of segment businesses by, is it pull marketing? Am I pulling people in who are searching for me? Or is it push marketing? Do I need to push my ads out to the right type of person to make them aware of my brand or my solution?
Hello, John. Finally, we're here. We're talking and, we can now put a face on our names because we've been emailing, I think, back and forth last month. But yeah, I'm excited to just learn more about you and your expertise. And I'm excited for our listeners to also learn from your expertise. But before we dive in, I want you to give us a little bit of, information about yourself and what you do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I've been looking forward to the conversation. And quick snapshot of me. Most importantly, I'm a husband and father of 3 little ones. So that keeps me busy. And then all the time I have outside of that, I am the CEO of Stub Group. We are a digital marketing agency working things like Google Ads and SEO, email marketing, areas like that. And ultimately helping all sorts of businesses succeed through their digital marketing and find more customers online.
I love that. So you've been in business for more than 5 years. What were you doing before?
Yeah, so I, way back in the day, started kind of, blue collar jobs, warehouse, kind of moved into customer service stuff, and then eventually through different jobs, ended up where I am now at Stub Group. So I've been at Stub Group for over a decade at this point, and had the privilege. I did not found Stub Group myself, but I came on as basically employee number 1. I was founded by my brother and a long-term friend of his, and then I took over the CEO role about 6 years ago.
Okay, cool. How was the experience for you, being the CEO of the business?
It's been challenging, exciting, great learning experience. Obviously, lots of responsibility that comes with it, but it's been a lot of fun being able to grow the business, grow the team, and try and balance the bigger picture vision side of things with also making sure the day-to-day gets done well as well, and keep it all running, keep it all oiled.
Yeah, I'm sure it's it's fun. It's a roller coaster ride, sometimes, right? And I can relate to that as well. So you guys offer Google Ads and SEO, and those two are kind of you can look at it 2 ways. Either they're kind of compete with one another because the other one is organic and the other one is paid, or they can supplement each other, right? And so can you please tell us, the difference between an SEO and Google Ads for those who don't know what SEO is and Google Ads? And if I am a business owner who would choose between SEO and Google Ads, what should I choose to do?
Absolutely. Let's dig into it.
Yeah.
So in terms of what a normal person's going to see, when they search on Google, they're most of the time going to see a combination of ads that come up at the top of the page, sometimes nowadays in the middle as well, and the bottom. And then everything else on there, everything else on there used to be what we would call organic, what we would call Google going out to websites and bringing back results that are the most relevant from Google's perspective to what someone is searching for. Now, of course, you also have AI overviews that also show up. So we've got a whole new world of what they're calling GEO
right
there, generative engine optimization. But trying to keep things simple for now. So SEO is the quote unquote free version of things. So you're not paying when people click on that. But you do often have to invest resources into actually getting Google to crawl those pages. So for most businesses, the best case scenario is great ads and great SEO, because that's going to maximize the likelihood that someone who's searching for something that's relevant to you is going to see you as a solution and click through to your website. But when it comes to prioritizing resources and like you said, saying, do we spend on the paid side of things? Do we spend on SEO? I would say a lot of that comes down to A, how much competition you have, and B, what your timeline is. So SEO is great in that if you rank well, again, you're not paying for that traffic. So you can get as much traffic as you want, and it's not costing you more money. The downside is it usually takes a lot of time to get those good rankings. It takes a lot of investment, a lot of work, and it can be hard to retain them because Google's constantly changing their algorithms, and one change can rewrite all the work that you did. And then also, if you're in a very competitive area, sometimes it's just not realistic that you're going to be able to rank high if you're going against, other people who have much more recognition. If you're competing with, Google and Reddit and other sites that have tremendous domain authority, it's going to be hard for you to compete. Whereas on the ad side of things, it's much more likely you can compete if you run really good ads, if you're strategic in how you approach it, and you have some money behind that. So if you need results much more quickly, ads is a good way to go. And then invest into SEO for kind of longer term benefits, and ideally have the best of both.
Right. Yeah. That's nice. That's good insight right there. So I have used, we've done Google Ads for my agency, but we weren't really very successful. I don't know if it's because the strategy, or maybe it's a combination of the budget. We don't have a big budget for Google Ads, but luckily, right now, Google is our number one lead generation machine. So we're able to optimize our website, and we're ranking on Google. And so we find that we don't need to do Google Ads anymore, since people are finding us on Google. And so, do you think that's correct? That if you're already ranking organically on Google, you don't have to supplement that with Google Ads?
I would say, it's fantastic when you're ranking well in Google. That's an ideal scenario, and grabbing that, that the free clicks that come through that is awesome. And then generally what I would look at it is, I would say, if we were to run advertising, let's say on these same keywords that are ranking well organically, I can almost guarantee I'm going to get more traffic than I'm getting right now, because there are going to be people who aren't clicking the organic results that are clicking on those ads. So the question becomes, can I convert that profitably? If I can convert that profitably, then I would say, yeah, absolutely. I want to run ads in addition to organic, because I don't want to leave money on the table. I'm going to get more leads that way. And if it's working, if it's profitable, if I'm tracking my cost per lead, I'm tracking how those leads turn into clients, and I'm making money on that, awesome. Let me go after it.
Yeah.
But there will certainly be, many scenarios where you're not going to be able to run profitable campaigns, because maybe there's just so much competition that the numbers don't work. What you have to pay per click compared to your conversion rates and lifetime value and whatnot just doesn't work for your business. And so, I look at it in that way, kind of for each business, and try to make decisions accordingly.
Cool. That makes sense. And on the perspective of, the people who are looking for something on Google, let's say they're looking for like a marketing agency, like Google Ads marketing agency. Let's say they type that in, and then they see 5 sponsored, links on top of the search result. And then they see the other websites that are ranking organically. Based on your experience, like, what do people tend to trust more, like the sponsor ads or the organic posts, or is it both?
I think most people, if you ask most people, they're going to say the organic results. That's the perception they have of themselves. Now, the reality is a lot of people don't realize they are clicking on ads. Part of that is because Google keeps making that less and less visible. Even now, like a more recent change I'm seeing within the last month or so.
Actually, I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, for Google, it's a good thing. The less visible an ad is, the more likely someone is to click it, and the more money Google makes. And you see this where, like, now Google's been testing having just saying sponsored results above the ads, and then instead of having every single ad labeled as ad or sponsored, there's just this one sponsored results, and it looks very, very similar to the organic listings. And so it's getting hard sometimes, even for me who lives and breathes this, to like, wait, is that an ad or is that organic? And so a lot of people really don't know what they're clicking. And so I would say from my experience, I don't see significantly lower conversion rates from people clicking on ads than people clicking on similar organic results. Unless you're just taking a very different approach to maybe the offer that you're presenting to them on the landing page for the paid ad versus where they get from the organic listing.
Yeah. And for B2B businesses, let's say for coaches, let's use that as an example. I don't know if you work with coaches. Maybe you can give an industry. that you work with? Can you name one industry?
Absolutely. So many. I can pick anything. I was talking about a tree service company earlier today.
Okay, tree services company. Let's do that. Okay. If they want to do Google Ads, like what form of ads should they do, or would you recommend? Because in Google Ads, there's also different ways on how you can show up on Google, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if email promotion is still part of Google Ads. It is, right? Like,
it is,
because I see email on top, like promotions on top of my email, and it's from Google, and also YouTube, right? Is part of that, and search results on Google. So, for a tree service company, in your own experience, like what is the best form of Google ad that works best, or is it a combination of different things?
Yeah, you're absolutely right that a lot of people, when they think of Google Ads, they just think of, I type something into Google and a text ad comes up, and that's what Google Ads is to them. And that's one type of campaign. But yes, in addition to that, you've got YouTube ads, you have ads that show up in Gmail. Many of the image and video ads you see when you go to different websites online are actually served by Google as part of their Google Display Network, and so forth. The Discover app, all sorts of places Google shows ads. And so really, when we look at Google's products for specific businesses, we think of them in the context of a funnel. And so we're going to start with the bottom of that funnel, where are the warmest, most likely people to convert, and then we work our way up from there. So for most businesses, we're going to start with search ads, the ads that come up when you search for something on Google, because that's someone literally typing in right now, telling me that they are looking for the product or the service that I sell. And so that's going to have the highest conversion rate. And then generally speaking, once we kind of maximize or max out capturing that traffic, capturing that relevant traffic, then we'll work our way up through the funnel, start doing things with Google's Display Network, which is, again, they're kind of websites that serve Google Ads on them, as well as Gmail and YouTube and so forth. And then we'll work our way up to, I would say that like the highest funnel with Google is probably going to be YouTube. They have what they call demand gen campaigns. They're kind of about creating brand awareness and creating demand for the thing that you are selling. And so you can ultimately kind of work your way up the funnel to get to those types of campaigns.
So, so when you do different ad campaigns, like, so you have like a main one, and are the rest kind of like retargeting, or is it for brand awareness as well?
So retargeting, I said the way we usually go is going to be kind of often search first. And if it's an e-commerce website that's selling products, we'll often use what Google calls shopping, which is the ads that come up with a price and a picture of the product and so forth. And those are usually the lowest, the most likely to convert. And then we'll generally add remarketing on top of that, retargeting, which of course is the idea where you're serving ads to people who've been to your website. You're trying to remind them of your brand or of your product, bring them back to convert. And so that's a very warm audience, people who already know who you are to some extent, and you're serving YouTube ads or image ads to them as they go around the web. And then after that is kind of what I call more the proactive targeting side of things, where we might identify, hey, this type of person who has this type of behavior, who is living in this geographic area, that's the type of person that is my target audience. I want to serve my ads to them. And so we might start targeting those on Google's Display Network or on YouTube, and then kind of work our way up from there.
That makes sense. And based on your experience, like what campaign typically gets the most result?
Yeah, I'd say any type of campaign has the ability to work well. It really depends on the business and of course how well the campaign is run and structured. Most of the time, you're going to see the highest conversion rates from those search and shopping campaigns. But at the same time, you're also going to see the highest cost per click, because you're paying a premium, because everyone you're competing with also knows that's the best traffic. And so you're all going to pay more for that traffic. So there's this trade-off where, hey, higher conversion rate, but higher cost. And then as you work your way up the funnel, say you're on YouTube, you're going to pay a lot less for a view of an ad than you would for a click on a search ad. But that person is also much less likely to actually convert into the action you want them to take. And so it really becomes a numbers game of, okay, well, based upon my cost per clicks, my cost per views, my conversion rates, how many of these people can I reach? How expansive can I go in terms of, again, starting with the most relevant audience and then kind of working my way up from there. And ultimately, a lot of businesses want to get to a place where they are running ads across these different platforms that feed into each other. So you're creating brand awareness maybe through your YouTube advertising, and then people are searching for you or searching for your product. You're picking that up through the search advertising, and then remarketing to all that traffic across different channels.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like the cost per click can really get expensive depending on the keyword that you want to rank for. Like I know there's like some keywords out there that's like $50 per click, right? And if the person that clicks on that is not the right target audience, like let's say for instance, like I've experienced, we ran a campaign and most people that clicked on the ad are people that are looking for a job as a virtual assistant. So we're like, okay, what's wrong here? Yeah. So we fixed that, but we're like, okay, well, if we want to rank, if we really want to get, a lot of leads, for the keyword that is really ranking with the high search volume, it's going to be expensive. So I think that's the reason why we stopped Google Ads. I think we just don't have, the budget for it. But I know for a lot of businesses, Google Ads is really, really helpful, especially when they have, the marketing budget for it. And if they want instant result, right? Some businesses, they just don't have the runway to wait for leads to come in from Google organic search. So that's why they opt to use Google Ads, right? So in terms of budget, like if I'm a business owner and then I wanna, let's say I own a tree cutting, service company, like how much budget should I, budget for a Google ad? Is it $5 a day, $10, $100 a day? Because we have a client who is also a marketing agency and they offer Google Ads, and we have a team member who's helping them with Google Ads, and most of their clients are like $100 a day, $200 a day. I was like, wow, good for them. I'm sure you work with clients like that too.
Yeah, so I'll give kind of my rule of thumb and then some caveats.
Okay.
So for most businesses, my recommendation is to not start Google advertising unless you're able to spend at least $2,000 per month on that advertising. And the reason I say that number is because you have to be able to get enough data, enough clicks on a monthly basis to start seeing what's working and what's not working, and make changes and optimizations to actually get things to a profitable place. And so if you're spending too little, you might luck into a really good conversion here or there, which might be awesome, but there's no way to really repeat that and build a sustainable advertising campaign because you're just not collecting enough data. So that's my rule of thumb. Again, caveats, like there are certainly clients that we work with who spend less than that. Often they're either in maybe a small geographic area where there's just not a lot of people searching in that area. And so a little budget can go a long way. Or they're maybe in a very, very niche thing where there just, again, aren't many people searching for in the US or wherever we're targeting. And so you can still make that budget go a long way. But for most businesses, I'd say at least $2,000 is what we recommend.
Yeah, I think that's a good advice. I think, having that specific budget in mind, especially for those who don't know anything about Google Ads, right? Like they're like, oh, I want to spend this much, $300 a month, and I want you to give me 50 leads. Right. That is just impossible. Yeah. You need to sometimes spend in order to get a return on your investment. So when it comes to industry types, like, is Google Ads for every business, or is it just for a few types of businesses?
Yeah, so I'll kind of break that answer into two parts. We'll talk about more the Google search and shopping side, and then we'll talk about YouTube and whatnot separately. So on the search side, I would say it's relevant, helpful for the majority of businesses if people are searching for the products they sell or the solutions they offer. So if you're a tree service, if you're an email marketing software, if you're fill in the blank, people are actually searching for a solution on Google, then there's a very good chance it will be relevant to you. If you're, let's say, an apparel brand, you've created these awesome dresses and sweatshirts and whatever, but people aren't really actively searching for that necessarily, then something like YouTube, Google Display, and other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, etc., are going to be a better place for you to spend your time and resources, because you need to get your ads visually in front of people to show them what it looks like. And then they say, oh, that dress looks awesome. Yes, I want to go check out that brand. So I kind of segment businesses by, is it pull marketing? Am I pulling people in who are searching for me? Or is it push marketing? Do I need to push my ads out to the right type of person to make them aware of my brand or my solution?
That makes sense. I love that. So it's a matter of asking yourself, like, is my business are the services that I'm offering something that people are looking for on Google? If yes, then Google search is the best. Or if my products or services is something that I need to show to people, then that's a different campaign for that, or type of ad for that. Nice. And so, okay, so I'm not up to date with this, but I've heard of, for SEO, I've heard of zero click, and I don't know how that affects Google Ads, but most people, including me, I don't go to Google anymore.
Yeah.
I go to ChatGPT to look for something. How does that affect Google Ads?
Yeah, we're in a fascinating time right now where there are a lot of people doing exactly what you just described. It's kind of the first time in decades that Google has a real, somewhat existential competitor to search, and that is ChatGPT and the other LLMs. Google is trying to retain their market share by inserting their own AI-based tools into the search experience. So right now, often when you do a search on Google, you'll see an AI overview that comes up. Of course, Google has Gemini as well, kind of their version of ChatGPT. And so the way this impacts Google Ads is, obviously if people aren't searching on Google, then they're not going to see Google Ads. So there's risk of losing market share there. And then it has, I would say, an even stronger impact on the SEO side of things, because Google is still prioritizing ads right now, because that's how they make their money. And so when they prioritize ads, and then they prioritize AI overviews, and often they're prioritizing YouTube videos and things like that, you start to get to a place where you don't even see organic results until you're getting really far down that page and you've had the chance to click on many other things first. And so it's a very interesting time for people in kind of that SEO space, where a lot of people are saying, okay, how do I show up on AI? Because
you're making me scared right now. Like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real question. It's a real important thing. And a lot of businesses, we ourselves are investing a lot of time into figuring out what does ChatGPT and the other LLMs, how do they source their information? How do they decide who to say is the solution when you go into your searches? So that just like in the SEO world, we can help our clients get into those locations and get that business from there.
Yeah, true. I wonder if Gemini or Google will start, showing Google Ads when people search on Gemini as well.
Yeah, so what we can say there is Google has said that they are showing ads right now in AI overviews. So it's not quite Gemini, but the AI overviews that come up. I will say I have yet to come across a person who's actually seen that live. So it doesn't happen often, but Google's always talking about how they're doing it. And then same thing for Google's AI mode. So right now, when you go and do a search, you have an option. You can click a tab, you go to AI mode, which is still it's not the Gemini domain, but it's the same type of idea. It's the same type of chatbot experience. And again, Google is saying that they are serving ads in AI mode. Not a lot there yet that I've seen, but Google for sure has as a priority the idea of integrating ads into these locations, because again, that's how they make their money. And
exactly.
They kind of have to.
Yeah. They're pretty busy right now, I'm sure, thinking about that.
A lot of late nights. I am very confident in Google HQ.
Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap up, I usually ask my guests to leave a question for my next guest. And my previous guest, who I just spoke with 30 minutes ago or an hour ago now, asked left you this question. So the question is, what lesson or personal development you've learned in operating your business?
There are a lot to choose from. I think the first one that pops to mind deals with handling with people, because especially as an agency, what we are selling to our clients ultimately is the time and experience and skill sets of our team members, and so people are our product ultimately. And I would say something I've learned over time, and I'm still learning every day, is the importance of the people we bring on the team and the importance of quickly identifying whether they're going to be the right fit. That idea of hire slowly, fire quickly. There's certainly been times where, like, I love people. I like to extend lots and lots of grace to them. But time and time again, what happens is if you just don't have the right fit and you just keep dragging it out, it's not good for that person. It's not good for your team. It's not good for your clients. So make quick decisions. Say, is this the right person or not, based upon their, the work that they're doing and how they're working with clients. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, really crucial in building a solid quality team that you can be happy about assigning clients to.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah. So what question do you want to leave my next guest?
Let's see. A question that comes to mind: what is the one thing that you feel you are spending too much of your time on right now?
That's a good question. Yeah. I love the questions of my guests. Well,
it's
thank
cool.
you so much.
This kind of random, not random, but this delay in time where I get to ask it and then I got to go check your next interview to see what the answer and who the person answering is.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you so much for your time today, John. Where can people find you online?
Two best places. First would be our website, stubgroup.com. You can see all the info on there. And then we also have a YouTube channel. Search Stub Group on there. And we put a lot of free content out about marketing and Google Ads and all sorts of topics like that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time today, John.
Thank you so much for having me.